Hey everyone, and welcome back to Resto Myths by RestoGPT AI, where my co-founder, Gary, who's a vetted restaurant veteran with over 25 years in launching and operating local and global restaurant brands like Chili's and Cinnamon, and I discuss and debunk common restaurant misconceptions about online ordering and delivery. So without further ado, here is today's topic. Hello again, Gary.
Hey, Vincent.
So today's topic comes from a restaurant operator that wanted our take on the heavily contested and debated topic of virtual brands, and if restaurants should fully forget about virtual brands and delivery only brands, or if there is some angle that is yet to be explored in the space.
That's a very good question. And I like personally, I like virtual brands because they can help restaurants to increase their sales. It just adds more channels if it's done correctly.
Mhm.
I think that's the problem. That's why the virtual brands got the bad rap, because they were forced to make orders for other companies which had nothing to do basically for their brand, their competence, their kitchen resources. And obviously restaurants didn't care much about those type of orders. They were late, the quality wasn't good, and so forth, so on. I think what's going to be a huge difference if the restaurant they create their own virtual brands, meaning each restaurant definitely has free time when they're not fully busy or have a lot of orders. It's a great time for them to get extra orders for that. So by having additional brands in their kitchen based on their menu, based on their ingredients, based on their human resources, the equipment, it just adds to the bottom line.
Interesting. But how can, let's say, your local mom and pop go about building a virtual brand, right? Like another menu of sorts based on their current, capabilities. Isn't that quite a task or a feat for a small restaurant to do independently or by themselves?
Let's start with the fact that virtual brands are not just the menu, it's also the tech that allows them to run them,
Right.
because otherwise could be a lot of confusion, or this could be coming from different sources, you don't understand many issues, and so forth, so on. So that's one aspect of it, which can create some confusion, even though a lot of restaurants do use virtual brands without the tech. Secondly, every menu has different categories. Let's say if we take a pizza restaurant, they definitely have pasta, or they could have pizza, they could have calzones, or they could have pizzerias, and so forth, so on. So based on those things, you could break the menu and create different categories and just try to work around that. And obviously, our big advantage in RestoGPT is, besides the fact that we're very competent in that space, is we provide the tech that allows restaurants to manage those orders, so they could create unlimited quantity of virtual brands and be able to manage them on all different platforms. But besides that, we help them with creating those menus, advise them how to do it, work with them on creating the logos, the images, the artwork, and so forth, so on, to make it successful.
Nice. So what I would say is, when it comes to RestoGPT, we don't just talk the talk, we're also walking the walk now, as you're spending lots of time in the AI Pizza Lab, and as I understand, we're getting closer and closer to launching a few of our own virtual brands as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, you just leaked the secret out, but yes, that's the case. And since we know this space very well, we've decided to do that ourselves, and just to see which additional technologies we can utilize to make it much more efficient and bring more sales to our customers as well, SMB restaurants. And as our mission is to help them to create more sales channels, obviously this is one of them, and that's what we're going to promote as well.
Very nice. So I guess to summarize then quickly, virtual brands as standalone generic brands might be difficult to have a comeback, so to speak, and it doesn't really seem to be the go-to for restaurants anymore. However, the concept of delivery-only brands could still work for restaurants if they build standalone menus and concepts out of their existing cuisine/expertise, right? As you mentioned, an Italian restaurant could have a pizza brand or a pasta bowl brand, for instance, that they could offer.
Yeah.
And to help manage that and also throughout that entire process, RestoGPT is also a partner that will be able to help with that entire process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right.
Great. Well, thank you so much.